strategies. This is a part of your program, Postgraduate Certificate in Inventory Planning and Warehousing System. And this is the course number 2, which is Advanced Inventory Planning and Control. Whether you are in a house, whether you are in a manufacturing unit or service company, you always need a certain amount of inventory. Initially, you can say before 1990, before the arrival of the concept just in time, the strength of a company lies with the amount of inventory the company can hold. Slowly and slowly, more concepts have been developed and they are named as a inventory management strategies. As you know that the type of business is changing. Earlier, for anything, we used to go to the retailer in our colony. We used to pay the amount and we take the commodity or the item. Same thing is for bigger item. We go to the showroom, we select the item, or just like car or a refrigerator or anything, or computer, we make the payment either cash or through check, and then after realization of the check, we used to get the item at our house. Now, with the emergence of the e-com company, the way of doing business is changing, or you can say daily there is a revolution in the business. So if we see that what is meant by inventory management strategies, basically our purpose of inventory management strategies so that the amount of material or the right amount of material may reach at right time at right place with the economy of the cost. That is the basic concept behind the inventory management strategies. As in today's session, we will study about many inventory management strategies. These are the few inventory management strategies. They are all mentioned in your booklet, and it is not only a part of a postgraduate certificate in inventory planning and warehousing system. This is also a part of Master of Business Administration, Logistics and Supply Chain, where we train the student in the field of logistics and supply chain. So the first strategy is the bulk shipment strategy. Second one is ABC inventory management strategy. Third is back ordering strategy. Fourth is just-in-time strategy. Then consignment strategy. Then drop shipping and cross-docking. Both are different, but we will take the strategies one by one with their pros and cons and where they can be applied. Now, in case of bulk shipment strategy, as the name indicates, anything which is purchased in a bulk, we get the concession, or if anything is purchased in a bulk, we get the discount. That is the concept behind the bulk shipment strategy. So in case of bulk shipment strategy, we take the advantage when we have to buy the large amount of commodity to get the discount on the cost of the material. Now there are certain pros and certain cons of the bulk ship strategy. If we take the advantage or the pros of the bulk ship, there is a high potential for the profitability because we are getting the large amount of material with some discounted price. Since large amount is shipped, so we need a fewer shipment, we are again lowering the shipment cost. This works well for the staple products. Staple product means the product which has the high demand and they are easily consumable, just like your rice, pulses, bread, milk, they are staple products. So it works very well when we have this type of a product, that is the bulk shipment. Now, what are the cons of there is a high risk. If you purchase in a large quantity and you are not able to consume, the customer taste is changing. So it is quite possible whatever you are purchased in a bulk quantity to get the discount, they will be of no use after a certain period of time. Since you are purchasing in a large quantity, so you have to spend more on the holding cost or the storage cost. And if demand is changed, it is very difficult to adjust the amount. Second type of strategy is ABC inventory management strategies. As the name implies, A, B and C. So we categorize the inventory into three categories. The first category is A category, where the items are of high value but they are very small in number. Category B is a medium type, where the value is moderate and the quantity is also moderate. Category C is a very low cost items, but their number is very high. There are certain pros and cons of this ABC. It is very convenient to classify the material into three categories, and you can forecast for each and every category. So it gives you a more systematic and scientific way of managing the inventory. Cons are that this type of strategy sometimes ignore the item which are new in the list, and sometimes they have a conflict with the other inventory strategies. Just like suppose we say that this item is of high value but low number. Okay, but as per the strategy, we need this item because this is a very crucial item. So we need another item must be stored because it takes about 6 months to 1 year to procure it. So it is sometimes they conflict with each other. Second thing, human resources are required in a large quantity. Third type of strategy is your back ordering strategies. If you pay attention to the title, that is the back ordering strategies. That means you are giving order when you receive the order of the goods. That means you have received the payment, you have received, then only you are placing the order. Back order are normally used to take the order when they receive the payment for the out of stock item. That means in case of any retailer, he will not keep that item, and suppose I reach there and demand, and if I pay him or her, then only he will place the or she will place the order. Now what is the pros of this? It increases the sale because the retailer is sure he or she has already got the payment. So cash flow is increased, more flexibility for a small business, and the holding cost is at low side because he is not holding. Once he got the payment, then only he is placing the order. The cons are there. There is a high risk of customer loyalty, customer unsatisfaction, because customer is, if not ready to wait for such a longer time, he will leave that and he will switch over to another retailer or another product. The fulfillment time is a longer, because the reason retailer is not keeping the material, because it takes time to reach from the dealer to the retailer. So long fulfillment time is another problem in the case of the back order strategies. Another very popular strategy is just in time. If I repeat the title, that is just in time. The anything which reaches at the last moment and when it is required, it is comes under the just in time strategies. That means the item we are receiving when we actually required it. So you just see that there are different pros and cons of these strategies. Just like in case of just in time, we have a lower inventory holding cost because we are not keeping or holding the higher side of the inventory. The cash flow will improve because we are getting the money or we are giving the money for the order which we receive. Dead stock is less. The problem in the bulk shipment is solved in case of just-in-time strategy. Now there are few cons in case of just-in-time. There is a chances of a stock out because due to certain uncertainty, the item or the material is more likely to be delayed. The chances of error is minimal. We are not keeping any space for the error. Another problem, because of uncertainty and lead time, the fulfillment time is always longer side. Another type of a strategy is a consignment strategy. Now just see that how the scenario is changing. Now what is happening, that supplier is keeping the inventory at the retailer, but he or she is not going to give the ownership of those items. That means retailer is keeping the inventory on behalf of the supplier. So what will happen? That if suppose out of 100, 10 items are sold, so the retailer is responsible for the 10 items only. So in this case, there are certain pros and cons of these strategies. Just like in case of, if I talk about the inside of this strategy, that the ownership always lies with the supplier. It will not lies with the retailer. So what is happening? That retailer always purchase the consumed item. If he has sold 10 items, he will make the payment for the 10 items, or he will not make the payment, but the supplier will make the commission for the 10 items only. So if I say pros and cons, you just see that market reach is increasing, because supplier is keeping the items at the retailer end, but retailer is not paying any amount. So retailer does not bother for spending the money. So he can keep as large amount as it can be possible, the permissible area if he has, he or she can keep the items. Since he is keeping or she is keeping the more items, he will develop the stronger customer relationship. Here again, the retailer will pass on a real data to the supplier, so there will be a better forecasting. Since ideal condition, real information is provided, so there is no chance of overproduction. Overproduction is a term is applied when we produce more than the demand. So here if we get the real demand, we are not producing anything which is in excess of the demand. Another important thing, it gives you a competitive advantage. Since more items or the more competitors are in the market, who is willing to keep the item without taking the money at the retailer will be the winner. Because what customer wants? Customers want the visibility of product at the retailer end. If a company is keeping a large amount and the large variety of product at the retailer end, he will gain the market share sooner or later. There are many disadvantages or cons. Supplier feels sometimes a financial burdens, because if there is a strategic partnership between supplier and retailer, because sometimes what happens that retailer creates some problem and there is a high risk of also, because due to brokerage or any theft, the retailer will not be any responsibility. The operation of the entire process of the consignment is a complex, because if there are 10 varieties, he has to manage the balance sheet for the 10 items. Delayed revenue recognition. This is another problem. Another important, that the dependency will be more on the retailer performance. If retailer perform well, he displayed the items or the material better in front of the end customer, the product will be able to attract the customer. And that is the requirement from the supplier side. Another very important which you will say is similar to consignment strategy, but there is some difference. In drop shipping, what happens? Instead of keeping the items at the retailer end, the supplier directly supplies to the customer. You just imagine the scenario of the e-com company, any ABC e-com company, that is a retailer. He take the order, then the order is visible to the supplier, and supplier on the behalf of the retailer, he will directly supply to the end customer. So that is another type of a strategy where the money is taken by the ABC company or the e-com company, but on the behalf of the retailer, the supplier is making order fulfillment to the customer. Now, there are certain pros, just like it gives you an advantage of lower inventory cost at the retailer hand as well as at the supplier. Because supplier is not only the supplier, it again a collection of many suppliers. So if he receives the orders from a retailer, it will pass to the different supplier. So all will collectively work and the item will go to the final customer. Another important disadvantage, the profit margin is very low because there are so many players are involved. Less control. The reason is again same, because there are many players, so control is less. The retailer has to depend on the supplier because the supplier will supply the items to the end customer. Another important strategy which has been started by the Walmart is your cross-docking strategy. You have also seen in your colony or at the starting of your colony that a big truck or the large truck is standing and small trucks are there and items are offloaded from the large truck to the small truck. That means the large truck is coming directly from the supplier, but at one end the shipment is transferred on the basis of the area requirement. This is called as a cross-docking strategy. The advantage of cross-docking strategy that the item will not go to the warehouse or the stores. It will from large truck to the small truck. Even nowadays what is happening, from small truck few others e-scooters or scooties are there, where if there are 100 items and the 10 delivery boys are there, so 5 items per delivery boy will be given and they will reach to the customer at a much lesser time. What are the advantage of cross-docking? It will reduce the inventory cost. The delivery will be faster. It is cost efficient because if you are keeping the material or the item in the warehouse, you will have to bear the storage cost or the holding cost. Another important thing is the supply chain visibility. Because once you keep the item in the stores, it will always show that the item is lying in the store. But if it moves to the large truck, to the small truck and then a scooty, then you are making a clear visibility how your item or the ordered product is moving. So as a customer you feel satisfaction that my item is about to come to my house. Now what are the challenges? There are few challenges. there is a complexity in the coordination, because the person who is coordinating the whole activity has to coordinate with the small trucks, and he must have the full information about the smaller area. Its applicability is limited because it requires the space, it requires the efficiency and skill and the competency. And another important thing is that initial setup cost is very high. So, my dear viewers, in today's session, we have covered inventory management strategies. There are many inventory management strategies, but in our session, we have taken 7 strategies, starting from bulk ship to consignment to ABC, just in time, then drop shipping and the cross docking. The purpose of the objective of each inventory management strategy is to reach the or to make the availability of the right quantity of product at right place in the right time. I trust that my content of the session will be helpful in your study and the future study. Thank you.